think of pizza, you think of cheese, sausage, and pepperoni. But Elvis? Well, of all things, it was a Velvet Elvis painting that helped get a small pizza restaurant up and running. And the town of Patagonia all shook up.
This little place has created not only pizza, but it's the culture, the music, the colors, celebration of the Southwest.
And to think, it all started with a painting of Elvis.
It wasn't because I love Elvis or because I really wanted to honor the king or because it just came in a very, very unusual way. We need a name that people will remember and that it has a point of reference. It has to do with this art form that has quite a history from the 70s, you know, and started in Mexico, and we wanted to come up with a name that linked both countries, Mexico and the United States, being so close to the border. And nothing did it better than Velvet, or rather Elvis on Velvet.
Owner Cecilia San Miguel was searching for not just a new name for her restaurant, but a new life.
I had moved to Patagonia after my husband died. And for the first time in my life, I was alone. My children were grown up and they had left. They were on their own, and now I found myself a woman alone for the first time. And so the whole world just was open to me. Is that what could I do? When I came to Patagonia, I didn't know anyone. And so starting from the very beginning, finding my way in a very strange surrounding, with no family, so Patagonia became my extended family.
And it was that extended family that helped her get started.
And so it's been nothing but a series of miracles that the way that we ended up opening the Velvet Elvis. One of the people who was the partners had worked, because this was a bakery before, Ovens of Patagonia. And she said, the best day that we have in the restaurant was Fridays because we offered pizza. And so whatever you do, make sure that you offer pizza in the bakery.
Cecilia decided to serve up pizza not just on Fridays, but every day of the week, along with soups and salads. And with the help of a local, a side of Elvis.
Somebody in town already had this painting, and they show up with this painting and they said, Cecilia, we have it in storage. We cannot give it to you. We cannot sell it to you. It can be on permanent loan. So this has been on permanent loan for the last 16 years. But it was just amazing. You know, the painting was already here.
Local friends also suggest new pizza recipes, which Cecilia willingly tries and puts on the menu.
I have been cooking most of my life, you know, and that has been part of my excitement. I mean, I really enjoy cooking. I'm not a trained chef. I learned to cook with my grandmother. So when I'm preparing the food or when I'm talking about making the soups, you know, the presence is there.
Besides Elvis, her restaurant is filled with Cecilia paintings by local artists.
It's part of creating the environment, it's part of creating the beauty, and it's also making the connection with the local people. So there is a kind of an ownership that develops, you know, when you say my artwork is at the Velvet Elvis. It's like an extended family.
Most Arizonans are familiar with the Bucky O'Neill Monument. It's been proudly keeping watch outside the Prescott courthouse since 1907. The detailed bronze statue captures the spirit of Captain William O'Neill, one of Teddy Roosevelt's famed Rough Riders and one of Prescott's leading men. He served as Yavapai County Judge, Sheriff, and then Mayor of Prescott, all before joining the 1st U.S. Volunteer Cavalry. But O'Neill never came back to Arizona. He died in Cuba fighting in the Spanish-American War. Prescott now has another bronze monument, this one honoring cowboy artist George Phippen.
I think that he had no idea of what it would become today.
This is George Phippen's last sculpture. He died in 1966. Now, Cowboy in a Storm has been reimagined. It's been recreated to stand larger than life, greeting you in the roundabout in front of the Phippen Museum.
A lot of people have copied George Phippen or copied this idea of the calf and the horse. He was one of the originals.
Ed Riley is the owner of Bronzesmith Fine Art Foundry and Gallery in Prescott Valley. He and his team have brought this enormous project to life.
The Cowboy in the Storm is not only a beautiful piece of art, but it's really a feat in engineering and in foundry work.
They have stayed true to the artist's vision, just on a bigger scale.
We've taken this 16-inch tall sculpture and enlarged it to 14.5 feet. Where I'm standing underneath the horse's belly right here, it gives you some idea of scale of how big this piece is. This entire sculpture weighs about 3,000 pounds. This has 65 separate large castings that are welded together to make this image. There is a lot of people that are involved in this sculpture beyond the artist, and because George has passed away, his son Lauren and someone else that has worked closely with Lauren, Deb Gessner, our house sculptor, has worked really hard on this. It's kind of a culture keeper type of project here for Prescott. We see this on a daily basis, but it's really slowly going away. I think it really still needs to be recorded, and I think it still needs to have a place in history because little by little, modern American society is eroding this way of life. Later on in the tour, you're going to get to see how we melt the metal and pour the bronze right into the ceramic shell. It's really something. It's alchemy at its best.